So 3.18 is getting closer and closer, and maybe you have lost track of what to expect in this patch. If so, I am here to help. So let's dive into some of the new things coming to us in 3.18, which is slated to release to the PTU this month. So for this video, I will list each feature and discuss briefly what we may expect from it come the 3.18 official release to the persistent universe. As always, I provide a table of contents for my videos, and this one is no different. We'll go by feature categories as shown on your screen. The Daymar crash sites will be in addition to the other already present derelict sites like the Reclaimer, Caterpillar, and Starfarer that are dotted around the Stanton system. As you would expect, these new crash sites are on the moon Daymar, which is a desert biome. Think Star Wars Tatooine. There will be two crash sites, one being the 600i and the other being an MSR. What's cool about these sites is that they can have missions associated with them, but most importantly, they tend to have loot boxes. So for all you mission runners and loot goblins out there, you will have two more ways by which you can engage in these activities. This feature has been committed, so you can confidently expect to see this in 3.18. In the current build of the game, we have but one river that you can visit and explore. This single river is currently on Microtech, and though it takes a bit of triangulation to get to, it is not very difficult. I have my own guide on how to get there, which is in the top right corner. To those who enjoyed this addition to the persistent universe, you can expect many more, and this time not just on Microtech. You can expect to see more rivers on Microtech and new rivers on the planet of Hurston. This feature is also committed, and you can expect to see them in 3.18. Going back to the moon of Daymar, we will be getting new caves, and they will be sand caves. So for all of you spelunkers out there, not only will you have more caves to explore, but a vastly different type of cave as well. This has also been confirmed for 3.18. We have a new PTV racing track that is coming in 3.18. This will be more like go-kart racing, but a very welcomed addition to the verse. This first one will be at Orison, the city in the clouds, on or in the planet Crusader. It's a gas giant, so on and I don't know, you get it. As shown on a fairly recent Star Citizen live show, this racetrack looks to be a lot of fun, and I personally cannot wait to give it a try. This feature is also committed. Now on to gameplay, and we are finally expecting to get physicalized cargo. Right now, those 1/8 of an SCU boxes that you can deliver are the only real physicalized boxes you can interact with, and in very limited fashion. However, the cargo you buy and sell, or the bigger 1 SCU boxes, are not currently interactable in any way. What we are expecting to get in 3.18 is the 1 SCU boxes now being fully physicalized, in that we can now interact with them via the tractor beam tubes. So you can buy and sell cargo, move it around in your ship's cargo hold, take it out, and put it in whenever and however you want. There is a cargo grid that you would need to snap this to though. This opens up opportunities for both lawful and unlawful players, which is really good for gameplay. I believe this will open up opportunities for lawful players in that we can now move cargo between ships and pick up other randomly generated 1 SCU boxes for additional Alpha UEC. For unlawful players, they get to steal cargo, and pirate raids are now much more possible, which in the overall picture is a good thing. This feature is not yet committed, though I am hearing that testing for this is underway in the Evocati PTU. As CIG has recently given us an update on this, I am hopeful that this feature will make it into the 3.18 build. 3.18 is expected to see additions to the prison gameplay system, where there will be new missions available within prisons for your unlawful repeat offenders out there. The reputation system will see its debut into the prison gameplay, where certain unlawful mission givers will now be able to give missions to prisoners who can reach a certain area of the prison tunnels that will allow for comms to get through. These missions also give hopeful prison escapees more reasonable options to effectively achieve that very goal without external help. If you are familiar with Security Outpost Kareah, you will know that right now it's but one location in the verse where you can clear your crime stat. In 3.18, it will become the only place where you can clear your crime stat, and it's getting re-inhabited by Crusader security forces. This will mean that criminals have much more of an uphill battle to clear their crime stat. But more than that, this location will become a hotbed of back and forth activity between unlawful attackers and lawful defenders. Kareah will also become the central location in the Stanton system that will store confiscated contraband and where lawful players can drop off confiscated contraband. It will also be a place where unlawful players can try to steal this contraband. I presume the desire for CIG is that this encourages more dynamic and engaging PvP gameplay. If you have played the Siege of Orison, then you will be very familiar with these missions. As with the Siege of Orison, the focus was heavy on FPS combat against the NPC gang known as the Nine Tails. This event would see groups of players or even solo players go to these other platforms on Orison to take them back from these outlaw forces. This is the same idea with these new missions, but will be in the form of missions and on a much smaller scale than the Siege of Orison event, but still capturing some of the greatest experiences from that event. I am really looking forward to this, even for the addition of more platforms to explore and experience in Orison. The more content that they can add to these landing zones, like the racing and missions, will only improve the landing zone experiences. This feature is committed. Very recently, CIG showcased some of the new racing locations around the Stanton system. These are locations for racing in your ships and will come with racing missions. This way, you can now earn Alpha UEC from racing, so it effectively adds another mission type to the game, which is very welcomed. So if you are into racing, this will be a great addition to your gameplay ventures. This feature is not yet committed. So this is probably the biggest feature to be added to this patch. We have been waiting for salvage for a very long time. We will finally be able to salvage damaged and destroyed ships in the verse. This will add another way for us to earn Alpha UEC in the game. To temper expectations, this is but one aspect of the intended salvage gameplay, so there is much more to come for this feature down the road. However, as with all features to enter the game, it starts at tier 0 and will grow from there. Salvage hull stripping is committed. So with salvage and hull stripping coming into the game, we will need a tool to conduct that gameplay loop. For ship-based hull stripping, we have the Drake Vulture. The Drake Vulture is a salvaging starter ship from Drake and was on display at this year's IAE show floor on day 1. I created a video tour of this ship and you can check that video after this one with the link in the top right of your screen. At the time of this video, the Vulture is not yet committed. As the Vulture is the salvaging tool for ships, the Greycap Multi-tool salvage attachment is the tool for FPS hull stripping. As with the tractor beam and med attachments, the salvage attachment can be attached to your multi-tool gun to hull strip damaged ships on foot or in EVA. The salvaging attachment is committed. So, persistent entity streaming, or PES, is a huge foundational underlying technology that is hugely important for facilitating the scope and scale of what Star Citizen is designed to be. That's a very long sentence. But in layman's terms, PES is what will allow your items, ships, and pretty much anything else you can think of to be persisted in the game. As you might imagine, this technology opens up the future of this game. Though it is but one cog in the overall technology machine that will make it all possible, it is a hugely important one. Many other technologies, or important technologies, rely on PES to even be possible. One is server meshing, which, by the way, I share my interpretation of in this video, which is on the top right of your screen. PES is part of the groundwork that you may not immediately see the fruits of right away in 3.18. However, the subsequent patches will indeed demonstrate how big of a step forward this actually is. I know many of you may not know or even care about the technology behind the game that will make the dream a reality, but as a tech professional myself, I can tell you that these bits, the PES, Gen 12, and server meshing, just to name some big ones, these are the reasons I remain super hopeful where others might be fighting doubt. To me, it's not only possible, but inevitable that we start to see huge leaps in progress. Even with that, I temper my expectations for the variables that I am not privy to. With all that said, we have effectively entered the next stage of development in my personal opinion. PES is not yet committed. Now, as with PES, the Gen 12 renderer is a huge step forward for your own personal experience with the game from a performance standpoint. We had a dedicated ISC about this technology very recently. Let's just say that I have also heard rumors that in Evocati testing, they are already seeing performance improvements. Time will tell, and once Wave 1 PTU is opened, I can personally test this myself and share my thoughts wherever I can. Now, this too is yet to be committed, though it seems we're getting very close. So there are a few additional things not listed on the roadmap that will make their debut in 3.18. One big one would be ship soft death. In the game right now, once your shields have been dropped in combat and your hull starts to take damage, your ship will eventually explode in a ball of fire without a trace of it remaining after the smoke clears. Ship soft death introduces a big departure from this experience. Going forward, ships will experience a soft death once shields and hull are depleted. Your ship will be quote-unquote disabled, and all doors will unlock, allowing your attackers to board your ship. Alternatively, you would be able to come back and retrieve your ship if it was disabled due to other means. This is great because it opens up more gameplay opportunities, which include boarding and pillaging of your ship's cargo and maybe other resources. This feature appears to be committed, though I do not believe there is any official statements on this. Another notable one is the addition of a stopwatch to your ship's flight HUD for player-driven races, etc. Now, there are more nuanced additions, and you can find them in the patch watch link in the description below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I have another video on the screen that I am leaving to the YouTube algorithm to recommend to you. That's all for me though. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Happy gaming to you, and I will see you in the next video.